You're buying a home and you should be extremely excited, but instead, you can't sleep. You're snapping at your partner, and you're thinking to yourself, am I making the biggest mistake that I've ever made in my life? Nobody's gonna tell you this, but it's completely normal. Sat in front of hundreds of buyers at the closing table. I've been one of those buyers at the closing table. Everyone, including myself, will hit a wall where they think they're falling apart. They are not falling apart, and neither are you. Here's the thing when it comes to buying your first home. Everyone talks about interest rates. Everybody talks about down payment. Everybody talks about down payment assistance or cash to close or the different things that go along with the process. But nobody, not your lender, not your realtor, not even your well-meaning friends will sit you down and tell you this is going to mess with your head. And because nobody talks about it, you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, am I the only one losing sleep? I gotta be, but you're not. Millions of people buy homes each and every year, and millions of people are going through exactly what you're feeling right now. So on today's video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly what happens. There are 3 mental phases that home buyers hit when they're purchasing a home, and knowing them ahead of time is gonna be half the battle for you. Welcome to the Jimmy Knows Loans channel, and let's go. All right, let's talk about mental phase 1, the exposure panic. This is where you hand over your bank statements, your pay stubs, your W-2s, your tax returns, your whole financial life to a complete stranger or someone like me. It feels weird, it feels awful, you feel naked. Every single deposit on your bank statement feels like it needs an explanation, and you start second guessing yourself. Did I really spend that much on DoorDash this month? And this is completely normal. We're not out here as lenders judging you. We're required by law to verify everything. And it's not personal, but because nobody tells you it's personal, it feels that way. Phase 2, which is the underwriting silence, is probably one of the most daunting parts of this process, and it messes with you mentally. Submit your application to your loan officer. They say, great, we'll be in touch. And then you might not hear from them for a day or a couple of days, or maybe even a week in some cases. You start refreshing your email every 4 minutes, and you start thinking to yourself, they found something. This deal is dead. I knew it. Here's what's actually happening though. Underwriting does take time. There's multiple people involved in this process. Your loan file is actually in a queue, and the silence doesn't mean bad news. It just means that the process is working. But since nobody tells you this, you feel like you're isolated and you think you're gonna get rejected. Let's talk about phase 3, buyer's remorse. This hits different for different people, let me tell you, but it always hits. Usually right before closing, the numbers start to get real. It's not a hypothetical anymore. And your brain does what brains do. It scans for danger. Did we overpay for this home? Is this neighborhood actually good? What happens if I lose my job? What happens if the roof leaks? I've never, not once, had a client ask themselves, what am I doing during the final week of closing? And this is the part nobody talks about. The stress that's there means you understand the stakes. Let me tell you something, the stress is not a sign of something that you're doing wrong. It's a sign of something that you're doing big. Let's think about it. This is the biggest financial decision that you're making in your life. If you weren't stressed, I'd be worried. Stress just means you understand the stakes. The problem isn't the stress that you're feeling. The problem is nobody helps you separate the signal from the noise. Here's a real concern. The inspection report that you got showed some issues with the foundation of your home. And here's an example of some noise. You stayed up until 2 a.m. reading a Reddit thread from 2019 about somebody regretting buying a home in the zip code that you're buying in. Your brain can't tell the difference between an imaginary threat and a real one. It just hits the panic button. In the absence of somebody telling you what actually matters, everything matters. So here's what you can actually do with this, and I'm gonna give you 4 different things. So here's the first thing, have the conversation early. Before you even start looking at homes, either sit down with your partner or sit down with yourself if you're doing this solo and agree on one thing, that stress is going to come about during this process. Stress is not a red flag, it's just part of the deal. So when it hits, we don't panic. We just name it. Oh, this is phase 2, the underwriting silence. When you name it, it takes half of the power away. Number 2, knowing which numbers to ignore. This can include Zillow estimates, Redfin estimates, your uncle who bought his first house in 1987 at a way lower price than you're getting, or your neighbor who said they got a way lower interest rate than what you're getting quoted. Ignore all of it. The only numbers that matter to you are your loan estimate and your appraisal. Everything else is just noise. All right, number 3 is one of my favorite ones, is knowing when to call me or a loan officer and when to call your friend. If you have a question about your loan, call your mortgage advisor. That is literally what we're here for. But if you want to vent about how stressful this process is, call a friend who's been through it before. Mortgage advisors like me, we're great with the loan, but we're not great therapists. All right, and number 4, this is my favorite one, is give yourself permission to feel the stress. It's not a flaw, and it's not a sign that you're ready. It's the price of admission for making one of the biggest moves you'll ever make in your life. And big things are supposed to feel heavy. It's normal. If you are in the middle of this right now and nobody's told you, you are okay. The stress does not mean you are failing. The stress just means you're in the game. If you made it this far, and if you've liked this video, if this touched you, as always, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Please give me a like and subscribe on this video. There's no fluff, there's no BS, there's no mortgage jargon. It's just the truth about how actual home financing works. I appreciate you once again. We'll see you next week.